Good evening everyone and welcome along for the final time to TTML F2. We are here for Season 7, it is the final round, it's round 13 of the championship as we take in the Brazilian Grand Prix from the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, otherwise known of course as the Autodromo de Interlagos. My name is James Head, going to be taking you through the stream as always on a Thursday night, and joining me in the comment box for the final time this season, it is Mr. EKG Storm. Storm, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for the intro there, James. And yeah, welcome everyone to the final race here in TTML for F2. It only seems like we were starting yesterday, James. But yeah, we are here for what will be, I believe, one of the most fantastic races this season. We've got 14 for this evening, so not too bad on the attendance for the final race of the season. Jonah, or should I say QRT Jonah, picked up his Drivers' Championship last week, and Aston Martin picked up the Constructors' Championship respectively, and congratulations to both of them, and obviously simply Superman for the Aston Martin. But going back to years gone by in Brazil for the Brazilian Grand Prix, it's thrown up many memories, and I think the most notorious one is Lewis Hamilton winning the Drivers' Championship against Felipe Massa when we all heard the famous line, "Is it Glock?" from the commentary booth. Maybe James might be doing it tonight, but a different driver. We'll find out very shortly as the drivers are readying up for their 18-minute qualifying when we will get underway, and it looks like they are going to be getting ready right now.
Yeah, I wish I could, but it is, of course, the German national holiday, so there's no Germans. See, it's like, so there's going to be no Timo Glock out on track, unfortunately, for TTML F2. To run you through, of course, the standings coming into tonight, Yona 284 points leading the way. He's already wrapped up the championship, so the pressure for him is completely and utterly off. He could DNF and he could still win the championship. Simply Superman in second on 235, Nick Houston in third on 178, Noisy in fourth on 153, and this is the big battle in the drivers that we're going to be watching out for, because we've got Noisy on 153, Jorgen 5th on 151, Bray in 6th on 147, tied with Chonas on the same points in 6th on 147 points, and then not even ruling out Nathan Clark, Jan and Matt Tibos and Tom. Basically, Noisy down to Tom are separated by 37 points, so really it's between Noisy to Yana, the 30 points separating there. Those are the guys within the battle for that P4 out on track. And speaking of being out on track, we are here in a very cloudy, overcast sky, of course, here in Brazil at the Autodromo Interlagos, 4.2 kilometers in length, 2.6 miles. Famous corners, of course, like the Senaresas, like the Cida del Lago, and like Jun Sao. These drivers, of course, will be enjoying things out on track. The pressure is off tonight, Storm. Who on earth is going to win in this final race of the season? Because I have a feeling it's going to be a lot more fun than it is competitive and clean.
Well, I think there might be one driver in mind that might want to be picking up his first race win, should I say, in TTML, and that is, I believe, Noisy. Reading through the chat earlier, he's never won a TTML race, and he's been here quite a while, I believe, and I think it might just be the fitting moment for him to take that race win, because he's given us some fantastic races, and especially if we go back to a couple of weeks ago in America, in COTA, where he went, I believe, for one of the most probably dynamic overtakes that we've seen this season. So yeah, I think he might be up there. If he doesn't win, I think he'll get on the podium.
Yeah, he'll be quite close. Imadi, I think, has got a really good chance here tonight. He's the first man out on track on a set of medium compactor tyres, and actually I'll change the graphics slightly just so we see what tyres everyone is on. Matt Tibos on a set of mediums, Bray, Tom, Nathan Clark, Imadi, Neymar and Juan Rocco all on a set of medium compactor tyres for this qualifying session out on track. But Imadi, the Scotsman, on the run down in towards turn 1. Of course, he has had previous success in TTML before, but I think he's got a really good chance of actually picking up pole position here tonight. Coming through the centre messes, at turn 2, and then through the left-hander at turn 3. On the run down, of course, the Retro-Aposta in towards the Cedar Lago at turn number 4, and it's a 16.8 through the first sector. And first sector's normally quite quick. It should be a 16.2, 16.3 as the session progresses on. Zarmadine now runs up the hill in toward one of the highest points on the track above sea level is through Ferradura at turn 6, through the right-hander of 7, and then in toward the right and left complex of turns 8 and 9. Pretty much now getting to the highest point on the track, coming out of turn number 9 and into turn 10 through Sabidos Dos boxes at turn number 10, and then coming through the through the Loanham, I should say, turn number 10, then to the left-hander of 11 in towards Johnstown at turn 12, and it's a 51.5 in the middle sector from Imadi. I believe one Rocco was backed off his lap if I'm not mistaken, and also Break FM just starting on the lap there, as well as some burst through the clouds here in Brazil. Carnival season in full swing here in South America as Armadina runs to the line and a 108.2. Interestingly, he actually took the outside line there. Drivers normally cut to the inside to save time.
Yeah, as James was giving us a fantastic lap guide there of the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's quite a well-known track. It's been on the calendar for a few seasons, and I believe a few years ago it was actually the season finale for the actual real-life F1 as Abu Dhabi replaced it, I believe, as one of our co-commentators, Graham, was telling me last night that it was a season finale for the F1 official races. But yeah, it's an interesting track. It's got a lot of twists and turns, especially turn 1 and turn 2. You can invalidate very easily by going over the curb a little bit. Turn 4, we know Hamilton versus Verstappen, and obviously we've seen also here incidents with Albon in Red Bull and Hamilton in Red Bull. We've also seen the fantastic joys of Pierre Gasly picking up that fantastic result here for AlphaTauri. So it's got a lot of history in the most recent years.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't see anybody going side by side up the hill towards turn 10 like Albon and Hamilton in 2019, because that's a famous moment. And maybe if the season obviously came down to the final race of the season, we could have seen a Sebastian Vettel moment in 2012, where of course he got spun, but I think it was the wrecking ball himself in Formula 1, that was Pastor Maldonado. Matt Tibbles though goes 5th, 108.4 on that set of medium compounded tyres. Not really surprising that a majority of drivers so far have gone on to a set of mediums. Yana's been the exception rather than the rule, and look at that, there's the difference between mediums and softs already. Soft compounded tyres on there for Yana, and it's a 107.4 to go, top of the standing so far. 5 minutes ago, looking through the chat, by the way, good evening to Jamie, good evening to Kermit. Menno putting in a comment there as well. Hi guys, last race of the season, I've enjoyed every race with your great commentary and respect for the super drivers. Go Nosy and Jorg, and of course Nosy and Jorg can't wrap up the constructors standings either. Aston Martin wrapped that up last week, so it is literally now a game of pride and pressure potentially out on track here in Brazil.
Yeah, we haven't kind of got that cat and mouse situation, and yeah, hopefully we get a better race than we did in Monza last week, as obviously we had the sprint race and the feature race, and if that was the standards that they're going to set, then yeah, I think me and James could just pull out the picnic chairs and have a a sandwich and probably a drink, because it could be a long night. But yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting one. Maybe Aston Martin might not go for a pole position. I think they might want to have a little bit of fun and start from the back, as Juan Rocco is out of the session, so the first retirement of the qualifying session. Just going back to this track in question, obviously Brazil, James, is it more effective for the undercut, would you say, or would it be better for drivers to go the extra distance on a compounded tyre?
I've seen differences many races around here on this game, and I normally tend to think soft compounded tyres will get you a third of the race through. So around lap 12 you'll be pitting in for a set of softs if you're really good on your tyres. If not, it's going to be lap 8 to lap 9, so drivers may necessarily pit in early. Then drivers on a set of mediums, I'm just watching on board Tom on his lap, by the way, and he's just nearly spun it out of turn number 10. But yeah, coming back to that point, obviously, looking at the undercut and the overcut around here, I would say undercut is actually quite potent. If you pit in a couple of laps before, compared to the guys maybe on a set of soft compound tyre, you will end up getting a massive undercut in terms of your strategy, but that will come back to bite you on the backside later on in the session, because obviously drivers might necessarily go medium compound tyres and then obviously go through out on track. But Yana out on top, Neymar second, Nathan Clark in third, and if anybody saw that on the graphics on the left-hand side, you weren't being kidded. Nathan Clark did select a set of inters there. And to be honest, I'm not surprised, because he can save a fresh set of dry tyres out on track.
Yeah, we saw that Monday night when obviously myself and James commentated in a different league. We saw in Bahrain a few drivers opt in for the intermediate, should I say. And it just gives that driver that fresh tyre for the final few moments where they can set that final lap. Ooh. And they'll have the better tyre advantage than everybody else. But yeah, so look at this type of track. You say, maybe coming in lap 8, 9, if drivers feel that they think, would that more put them into a 2-stop strategy? Would that force them into a 2-stop? Or do you think they could still do the 1-stop if they went on a medium run that was, a little bit longer and extended?
1-stop is manageable, but only if you are really good on your tyres. And if you're not really good on your tyres, you're going to struggle around here, because you can get... I've seen drivers get nearly 30 laps on a set of mediums on this game, and trust me when I say this, it can be done. But these guys here in F2, some of them, especially the likes of Noisy and Jorg, who are not necessarily that great on their tyres, tend to overwear them, and that might just be the worry, of course, going through the session. You saw Imad there, by the way, go top on a 107.1. Brick FN is in second. He has just started. He's just finished his lap as well, and Yana, I believe, is on a lap up the hill in towards turn 6 at Ferradura. Bamse there in the comment section as well, saying, "Hey, hi James, are you commentator next season in the same league?" And the answer to that is no, unfortunately. You'd probably be expecting me, oh yeah, it's going to be TTML F2, James once again. My plan is to only do F1 next season for TTML. I'm going to be sticking on board as head commentator and everything else like that. But for me, F1 is going to be the bread on the pudding, basically, as I will share the announcement in just a bit. I think Matt Tibbles went second. But my announcement is... F1 will be getting graphics back next season, so that is why I'm committing myself to F1, and obviously other commentators will come in for the rest of the tiers, which I think will be very, very exciting indeed. So Storm, you might be sticking around at least in F2.
Well, yeah, that's, I'm sure, welcome news to a few people that might like to hear my voice every Thursday at 8 o'clock. I have covered F3 as well this season. That's probably why I haven't been here for some of the races, as I've had to fill in for Cadwell, Mike and Ivan as well. It's been an absolute privilege, obviously, of course, to work with yourself and the other fellow commentators, especially Ivor Bryn Mike. He, our resident Welsh commentator and driver in F3 and F4. Yeah, he's definitely a good commentator that, yeah, likes to give a good laugh sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. So I think I commend every single commentator, even in EML. I was messaging some of the guys earlier on, Aiden and Luke especially, because they're going to be leaving at the end of the season, as is Mr. Ivan Mike as well, because I've heard on the grapevine, you'll probably hear it on the F3 stream as well, he looks like he's going to be focusing more on racing than commentary going forward, so therefore Mike will not be commentating next season as well. I've been told that, certainly privately. Not sure if that's going to be fully through. Nathan Clark was on lap, he's hit the wall coming into the pit lane. Never really see that from Nathan Clark. Jonas, though, is on lap, but he's invalidated. Tom on a lap as well. And Yana, I think, has just finished his lap on a 107.2, so he went third there on that lap time. Simply Superman. Not simply super first sector from him, to be honest. 16.6 through the first sector, but now up the hill in towards turn number 6. I think, honestly, he'd be expecting wings like Red Bull at this stage to try and get on pole position.
Yeah, well, Red Bull does give you wings, apparently. I don't know what wings he will be running this evening. Just looking at this type of track, the nature of the track, that final corner, the run down into start-finish line, the slipstream and the DRS you get from it, you can make so good overtakes into that turn 1. And I reckon we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers into turn 1 are going to go for the late moves, going to go for a late dive bomb. Hopefully, fingers crossed, no safety cars come out of it. But I just expect that we are going to have, as Superman crosses the line in P5 with... Tom! Tom coming in with a hot time there of a 7.1.
He does indeed. Yoga's on a lap, Noisy on a lap as well. But what can they do? Out on track, Noisy 51.2 on a set of mediums in the middle sector. That is quick. On a set of mediums, normally you see soft compound tyre laps around a 50.7, 50.8. Noisy on a really good lap here. He comes around the final corner on the run to the line and he puts himself into 8th. He's only 6 tenths off Tom, but I tend to think improvement around this track will come anywhere between 8 tenths of a second and 1.2 seconds. It's that big of a gap. Yog, by the way, goes 11th as well, 108.2. But Tom out on top, Imadi in second. However, Storm, Imadi is responding, 50.4 in the middle sector, and he now runs the line through turn 15, and on to pole position he goes, 106.9, much more like it from the guys out on track, and Imadi goes quickest, Tom in second, Matt Tibbles in third as Break FN, only 5 thousandths down in the first sector.
Yeah, it's being a good night for the Alfa Romeo, the Ferrari Junior team. As yeah, they're in P1 and P4 at the moment. Matt having a good qualifying. I think the last time I saw Matt have a good qualifying was Silverstone when I believe that was a sprint race week in the calendar, and he did really well there. He's had not a great last few results. At the back end of the season, but yeah, he'll be happy with P3. Break FM, he's on a lap at the moment. He's 2 tenths up at the moment. He's coming through the final sector and he's on his way down into the start finish line as he's now going to cross the line, and he is going to set a 7.0, and that puts him up into P2, and he splits Imadi and EVG Tom and puts himself on the front row of the grid.
It does indeed, yeah. Break FN, of course, former TTML F1 driver last season, remember, in the Red Bull, now, of course, in the McLaren in F2 this season. Hasn't had the best season, I've got to be honest, from Break FN's perspective. Qualifying, he's normally quite quick. Then the race, it just all falls apart, so hopefully the McLaren will work. This man here, though, is doing something that nobody else, I think, is doing in this field tonight. Yona is running no assists and no line. On the run down in towards turn number 1, our championship leader wants to try and prove himself as a contender next season. Let's see what his lap time's going to be like! And already it's messed up because he got caught in the grass through turn number 1, and that is the difficulty of running no assist. Yona has just found that out, and Yona there down in 13th. But I commend him for absolutely trying for no assist. He wants to learn no assist going onto the new game as well. Totally commend him. He is probably going to be in TTML F1 next season if his pace is quick enough. And to be honest, he's a deserved champion, and he may as well have fun on this final race.
Yeah, I think we both can agree on that one. He has shown not just his pace, but that he is a fantastic champion. As Break has retired, so I can't see what's left on the timer because I've got Sector 1 yellow
About
flag.
3 minutes.
Oh, okay. So 3 minutes left on the clock. We'll see the drivers come out maybe around about now for an out lap, and then that one final push lap as Matt is out, and I believe a few more will come out, or they may just sit there and be happy with the time that they've got, because that run down into turn 1 on lap 1 could get very messy or could be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, definitely could. Shonas, another man who has struggled in terms of his race results this season. I know he's fighting out, obviously, for the top 10 positions, but Shonas on the run down in towards turn number 1. He's put us at a soft compound tyres on 108.5. Yona has retired from the session, and he's actually crashed it through turn number 2 at the centre rest, so hopefully Yona will be starting in he's be starting in 13th position, because Juan Rocco's not going to improve him already being at the session from an outlap crash as well, as Shonas now comes down in towards the Cedar de Largo at turn number 4, and it's a 16.7 through the first sector. Not purple in the first sector, runs white slightly coming through turn 4, and then on the run up the hill in towards Ferradura at turn number 6. It's Armady out on top, Breaker Fed in second, Tom in third, Matt Tibbles on the lap. Yana backed off his lap, I believe, as well, so Yana might be on another one in terms of a push lap, but Shonas is on the lap. He's running now through turn 9, and then in toward the line now at turn number 10. Goodness me, that was a snap of oversteer coming out of turn 10. Really struggling, taking it nice and cautiously on this lap so far, as Shonas now comes through the middle sector. 51.3, nowhere near what we've seen from the front guys, but again, Ahmadiyad on top, Break FN in second, Tom in third, he's just lost it, nearly coming through John Sauer as well, so all of this is struggling for Chonasi tonight, might not even improve ahead of Bray and Jorg at this rate, as now Chonas runs towards the line, and in fact, he doesn't even improve on his lap time. He went too wide at Jun Sao, and therefore he doesn't get a lap time in. Yana, though, does. He goes third, 107 flat, and Matt Tibos has just backed off a lap as well. Neymar is invalid. Noisy just starting up a lap on a set of mediums as well. And Jorg also on a set of mediums. Chon is starting another lap. No real contenders at the front, though, starting up on their laps. Amadi is coming through the final sector, though.
Yeah, it's all... well, I would say Manic Monday, but it's Thursday today. So we'll call it Manic Thursday here in Brazil, as the drivers are going to be setting what will be their final laps. Can anybody beat a 6.9 with Imadi? And I believe it might just be possible, as Jan could make it a Alfa Romeo 1-2. We've not had many of them this season, where both drivers from one team have got a 1-2. But tonight could be the night.
Yeah, he's going to run out of time, Yana, so he's not going to go second, so that'll be his qualifying session done. He's not another run here. Noisy coming through the middle sector, 300s down. He's going to be one of the first to come across the line. Chonas came to the line there, did improve on his lap time, but didn't actually improve his position. It was a 108.5 in the end. Noisy now running to the line. He stays 8th, but a good consistent lap from him. Jorg goes 9th as well, so the Red Bull's 8th and 9th at the minute. Simply Superman is on lap. Neymar was on lap, but he's invalidated. Matt Tibbles, though, purple out of everyone in the middle sector. I think that's indicative of his own time rather than the fastest time we've seen so far. But Matt Tibbles now running to the line. He goes 4th. Potentially, if he ran the inside line, he could have went 3rd there. Tom is up by a 10th of a second in the first sector, now through the middle sector. He's actually lost time in the middle sector as Ahmadi now goes quickest, 106.7. That, I think, puts it out of range for everyone to try and catch. Simply Superman is coming in towards Jun Sao, and Simply Superman actually is 5/10 up on his lap, so he's flying on this lap time. The Irishman, of course, former Ferrari driver, now Aston Martin for the remainder of the season, and Simply Superman now coming around the final corner, and he comes into the pit lane. Absolutely typical. He was going to improve up to 3rd position potentially there, and he comes into the pit lane. How terrible behaviour that was from the Irishman. Ahmadiyad on top though, Break Fed in 2nd and Yana in 3rd. Did tell you Ahmadi was good around here. He did take the win around here as well, I believe, in TTML F3 in the past, and now he's on pole position by 3/10 of a second.
Yeah, and that 3/10 has got him pole position, the Irishman in... or is he No, Scotsman. Is he Scottish?
Scots.
Yeah. I'm causing a bit of Irish and Scottish rivalry there. Oops, that's a bit awkward. Yeah, just imagine if you were Irish, James. That would have caused a bit of conflict. Yeah. So qualifying is over and done here in Brazil F2. Don't forget, also on our YouTube channel is F3, which is League Racing TV, and I'll hand you over to James for the qualifying results.
Yeah, Ahmadiyad on top from Break FN in 2nd, Yana in 3rd, and look at that big chasm of a gap between Ahmadi and Break FN, 3/10 of a second. But look at the guys in behind, they're separated by 600ths of a second. Break FN, Yana, Matt Tibos and Tom rounding off the top 5. Simply Superman in 8th, in 6th, Neymar in 7th, Noisy in 8th, Jorg in 9th, Nathan Clark in 10th. They all start on that sort of medium compound size. Obviously, then we've got Bray, Jonas, Yona, who's starting in 13th, and Ryan Rocco is starting right at the back of the field. TTML F3, by the way, is just starting on their formation lap at this point in time. There are 10 drivers there, believe it or not. Very disappointing attendance for the final race of the season in Brazil. Dundee out on top, Dylan McGivern in 2nd, Charlie in 3rd at the end of qualifying. Tam, of course, the championship leader, looks like he's doing a last to first challenge and also starting on a set of medium compound tyres. So if you do want to go and watch that, you can watch it on YouTube, on League Racing TV. If, however, you're like the 20 viewers that are currently tuned into the stream here and you don't want to budge anywhere, you want to stay on board with the action here in F2, I'd probably stick here if I was you, because it's probably going to be better racing.
Yeah, it probably will be, as it's blue skies and sunshine here in Brazil. So you might as well grab your beach towel, grab your beach ball, and well, I would say head down to the beach, but looks like we're gonna, whatever you want to do, and yeah, just enjoy what will be 36 laps of pure fantastic racing here in TTML Formula 2. So for the final time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll hand you over to James, who will take you through the race start and lap 1 as we get ready for the TTML Formula 2 Brazilian Grand Prix.
Yeah, formation up now, beginning here in Brazil. 36 laps, as Storm has mentioned, awaiting the guys out on track around this 4.3 kilometre circuit, 2.6 mile, 2 DRS zones, of course, 1 down, pretty much where we're going now, in towards turn 4 to see the Delago, and then, of course, 1 down the start finish straight in towards turn number 1, where the majority of the overtaking will be had, I'm absolutely sure. Everyone, of course, in the top 10 starting on the qualified compound size, so top 5 in a set of softs, the bottom 5 in the top 10 on a set of mediums. They qualified, remember, on that tyre. Bray and Yona going set of mediums, probably the better strategy compared to Chonas and Juan Rocco. They go for a set of softs, but Storm, if you were in the driving position here tonight, in terms of strategy, what would you go for? Because Chonas and Juan Rocco's gone softs, Bray and Yona's gone mediums, so there's a bit of a 50-50 split halfway down the field.
Well, as funny enough you say that, James, last week I did a race at, and you said Belgium, Brazil, and I started on the medium compound purely for the fact of if there is a safety car, you can stay out, because as you alluded to earlier, the medium compound type, they can go the distance. If there was a safety car, you can get around 20 to 25 laps in if you can save the tyres. As Jorgen, we've got a bit of a formation situation. Keep it clean, lads. We know it's the season finale, but keep it clean, as the drivers are going to be going into their grid slots. But yeah, I did a 2-stop here. I did a medium soft, but I'll hand you over to James for what will be lights out here in Brazil.
Just waiting for Juan Rocco, being slow Rocco, I think, coming into the line. He was down in 14th position, just awaiting him out on track. He's going to take his grid order. Now, of course, drivers can take manual control on the new game, which I'm very much looking forward to out on track. And he has parked up very nicely the corner. The game works, and the 5 red lights are going on here in F2 for the final round of the season. And it is lights out and away we go, and Imadi gets a very good start. Break on the inside line, will try and run in towards turn number 1 and gets a better second phase as Yana now pulls the outside line, and Bray is already at the session, so Bray is already at the race even before we reach turn 1 into VSC. VSC out on track. Jonas and Yoga picked up a 5-second penalty for colliding with each other as well. I have a feeling Yona might have slid off the start and has gone into Bray off the line, and Bray hasn't even made it 100 yards off the line there. So unfortunate. Imadi out on top, Break FN in second, Yana in third, and we are under a virtual safety car, which is absolutely unbelievable. Probably the earliest VSC I've ever seen on this game.
Yeah, that is one quick VSC. I did actually catch what happened, and you are right, James. I think that was not a moment of panic, but yeah, no, fair play to Yona. He is using no assist, and yeah, it was a little bit of I wouldn't say a wheel spin, but he just got off the line a little bit quicker than XL Pre, and yeah, XL Pre just got pushed accidentally into a wall, and yeah, that's his night over. But it is an early night, I have to say, for the Mercedes driver. But yeah, I can't see that going anything of a penalty. It was just a misunderstanding, I think, and you know, everyone moving off the start line at different paces. But yeah, a safety car, not a safety car, VSC has now ended, and no driver.
Tom down the inside line of Yana, getting the job done, and towards turn number 1, now through the centre rest at turn 2, Yana's on the inside line, Matt Tibos is right there as well. He's got a really good restart, has the Alpine, and he's now on the back, running down the Ferradu, in towards the seat of the Largo. Neymar has spun, coming through the centre rest as well. I think he might have just spun it on himself. Yana tries to go around the outside of Tom, in the foreground of shot. Matt Tibos is just in behind, thinking, you guys make contact, I take 2 free positions here. As Simply Superman tries to chase him down there, and sixthly, Yana and Tom are still side by side, coming through the right-hander of turn number 7, and then into the top of the hill at turn number 8, and then of course into the left-hander of 9, and Tom just about out-muscles the Alfa Romeo. Great battle that between them both. Good fair respect, and Tom Throoney's into third. Yana there in fourth, Matt Tibbles in fifth, as Nathan Clark has spun, as Bray's left the session, but Nathan Clark has spun coming out of turn number 9 as well, and he's right down in the field, and Neymar, I think, didn't hit the wall in terms of his contact, who's still going at the back of the field. Not ideal for him. Imadilo's broken DRS to Break FN though. DRS of course will be enabled next lap around. Armadillo leads the way by a second from Break FN in second. Tom in third. Yana in fourth. Matt Tibbles in fifth. Further down the field, though, Juan Rocco's going side by side with Noisy. These two have had complaints about connection before. Hopefully it doesn't happen. And Juan Rocco has just sent an absolute send down the inside line. That is the switchback of the season if I've ever seen it. Juan Rocco through and he's into 8. Noisy has just been completely outdone. Connection failing or not. That was insane from Juan Rocco. He's through and he's into 8.
Yeah, it was a fantastic move from the McLaren driver as he makes his way up into P8. And I think Noisy might just be thinking, you took a leaf out of my book from Kota. Yeah, no, as Juan Rocco is now on the charge up for P7 as he has the Williams driver right in front of him. But it is a bit of a train from P8 all the way up to, I believe, which would be, up to Tom. So everybody is within the 1 second DRS as they all make their way up to the final part of the lap, and where they will get the most of the DRS and the slipstream as Tom now crosses the line for what will be, I believe, lap number 4.
Yeah, lap 4 beginning. Armadillo leads the way. Break FN in second. Tom in third. Matt Tibbles was close to the back of Yana. Juan Rocco was right on the back of Chonas. Look at the pace he's got compared to them. He's an F1 driver in an F2 league, I think, at this point here tonight. He's there in 8th position. Chonas there in 7th. And Juan Rocco looks very, very quick indeed. If his connection is fine tonight, he is going to be fighting, as is Yona on the back of Jorg. Not getting the move done there, though. Of course, the two championship rivals from earlier on in the season, they're going to go perhaps side by side up the hill and towards Ferradura at turn number 6, but he's not going to get the move done there as Yona, and he remains in behind on the back of Jorg. They're both, of course, on that set of mediums. They qualified, of course, on that set as well. Apart from Yona, though, he's started in 13th, so he's on that fresh set of mediums and has gained 2 positions off the start. Speaking of positions gained, 6 positions gained for Juan Rocco. Told you he was quick around here. Chonas has gained 5 as well. Yona gained 2. Tom has gained 2. Everyone else, apart from Armadillo, Break FN and Simply Superman, who have remained as they are, everyone else has lost positions, and I have a feeling Tom's going to lose a position here to Yana, because it's 6 tenths running down in towards turn number 1. More immediately though, Break FN on the back of Armadillo. He's not going to be enticed into that battle at all, and nothing I think is really going to happen in towards turn number 1. Apart from Juan Rocco absolutely sending it on Chonas down the inside line into turn number 1, through the centre rest of turn 2. He's forced out wide there, Juan Rocco, by Chonas. Little bit more room given, I think, between them both, to be honest, and that now Chonas is getting the run on Juan Rocco. They both picked up DRS as well. As a result, Juan Rocco comes swiping across on Chonas to defend the position, and he remains in P7. But they have to be a lot fairer to each other out on track if they want to get to the end of the race.
Yeah, they will have to, as we want to, keep it clean racing. And, it's looking like Juan Rocco might just be using as much of that tyre as possible, so then he can have a really long stint on a medium compound tyre, as he's already on the back of Simply Superman, and it could be a situation where it could turn into a simply disastrous situation. As Juan Rocco literally has a bit of a moment and loses a bit of time.
Break FN though is catching a break for P1. There he goes into the inside line, in towards turn number 1. Job done, and he's through, and he's into the lead of the race. I like how I got that in, to be honest there. Armadillo in second, Tom in third, and Tom picks up a penalty there in third. He ran wide coming through turn number 1 in the background of shot. Yona has got past Jorg as well, so that is through, and he's into 10th position, and Noisy's on the back of Chonas, and look at the speed that Noisy's got on those mediums down the inside line into turn number 4. Chonas out breaking himself there slightly. Not good enough though. Noisy through, and he's into 8th position as Jorg tries to battle Yona up the hill. We are through first 6th distance here in Brazil. There's Break FN leading the way. Armadillo in second, Tom there in third. Front 2 though, Storm have pulled away quite considerably. Tom hasn't got the pace so far in this race to lie up with the front runners. He's holding Yana, Matt Tibor, Simply Superman, Juan Rocco up in that little bit of a pack. And there will come a point where Tom's tyres, because he's doing more of the donkey work, will have to pit in slightly earlier than the guys behind him.
Yeah, he will have to. He will have to pit in early, as Jan is looking for that move as he. Sector 3 yellow flags. As I believe Jan is going to go for a late move. No, he's not. But I believe we've also got a battle for P5 and P6 as Simply Superman realises that one Rocco's right behind him. That doesn't bother him as he is literally
And there's Yana.
on the move on Matt Tibos.
I'll save your voice. Yana's through. He's into P3. Tom there in fourth. Matt Tibos and I think we're both struggling with something here tonight. My voice is certainly a bit hoarse there out on track, but hopefully we can keep going to the end. Breaker Fen leads the way. Amadi in second, Yana in third, Tom in fourth. Juan Rocco on the back of Simply Superman. Absolutely sends it down the inside line. What a move that is by Juan Rocco. The overtaking Spaniard out on track is through. He's into sixth. Simply Superman through into seventh. I think Simply Superman, to be honest, let him have that one. He's going to try and get him back, of course, down the straight. But Juan Rocco has got pace. This is why he was a TTML F1 driver early on in the season, I have you know, and he's there and he's into sixth position. And I tell you what, he has got the pace compared to these guys ahead of him. This should be quite easy work for him. And speaking of easy work, I think Tom is going to be on the back of Yana. In towards turn number one we go. And he's on the outside line and we'll even get him just before turn number one. And Tom is through and he's into third as now Yona. Now picking up the pace. He's got into that rhythm on the no assist. And Yona now through and he's into eighth on the back of Chonas. And now he is beginning to gain as a result of those mediums coming into play as well. As Yana again chases down Tom down in towards the Cedar de Largo at turn number four. But he is not quite simply close enough. Breaker Fen leading the way, Amadi second, Tom there in third, Yana there in fourth.
Yeah, it's all go with the battles this evening as everyone looking to get a good points finish for the standings at the end of this this season on the final season for F1 2021. Yeah, as we were mentioning before, Tom is just not got the pace anymore on these tyres. He's slipping away from Imadi as, he's now not even in DRS. He's 1.9 to 2 seconds behind Imadi, and I think Jan, not this lap, maybe the next lap, may look for another re-overtake, as I think Simply Superman is going to get closer to Juan Rocco as they make their way down into turn one.
Jorgen's going to get Chonas though in towards turn number one. That's a guaranteed moving towards turn one. So Jorg through and he's into ninth. Chonas there dropping down in terms of 10th. Not only has he got no real pace out on track, he's going to be swallowed up as well by Nathan Clark, who of course qualified well. He's now on the back of Chonas down the inside line in towards Cedar Largo at turn number 4. Does he get the job done? Chonas will have to give him room, and he does give him room. Nathan Clark on the inside line should have the run up through 4, but he doesn't get caught in he gets caught in the curb, and Chonas waltzes back through, and he's into P10, so the Norwegian there into 10th. Nathan Clark there, the Brit in 11th. He's just struggling slightly in terms of his setup there. He's oversteered slightly, coming through turn 7 as well, but he tries to go now all the way around the outside, and Chonas is a really good battle between them both. Nathan Clark, though, doesn't want to try and risk it for a dive bomb down the inside line. He might want to risk it for a switchback though, coming out of turn number 11. And then in towards turn 12 at John South, Chonas though was holding him up big time, and Nathan Clark is now out of the DRS, and he says thank you very much because he wants us down the inside line, gets the job through, and he's into 10th position as Imadi is going to get the job as well for the race lead. Imadi through and he's into the lead of the race. Breaker Fed in second, and Juan Rocco's going to try and send a dive bomb in the back of Matt Tibbles. Doesn't get the move done, and last lap around, by the way, Juan Rocco went into the back of Matt Tibbles. It was through turn number 8, and Juan Rocco hasn't got any damage of result, but he has to try and save up that EOS as much as possible because Matt Tibbles has got about 20-30% more than the driver in behind.
Yeah, as you mentioned, these drivers are waltzing their way through and doing these overtakes. If they're waltzing, James, I think we might be in for a bit of Strictly Come Dancing. As these drivers are proving that their overtake skills are very high and the highest of the drivers that we have here in TTML.
Yeah, definitely so. Amadi though leading the way, Breaker Fed in second. Amadi, I think, look at the amount of ERS he's got. He's got 80% ERS, and he's now actually trying to pull a little bit of a gap out to Breaker Fed. I wonder if he's going to think about coming in the pit lane in a couple of laps' time, because you can make it, obviously, around 12 or 13 laps on the set of softs. Juan Rocco, though, was going to try and make it P5 on the back of Matt Tibbles, down the inside line, into turn number 1, and the Spaniard has literally no invitation to come through, because Matt Tibbles just holds it around the outside line, through turn number 1, now through the centre rest of 2, and now on the run down the Retroposta in towards the Cedar de Lago. We saw Leclerc and Vettel in 2019 collide here, but Matt Tibos and Juan Rocco are going to remain in the same positions at this moment in time. Matt Tibos there in 5th, Juan Rocco in 6th, and Juan Rocco normally, you see him going for quite aggressive moves down the inside line. We haven't seen it so far here tonight. I think he's got the memo that he has been lagging out on track and he just doesn't want to risk anybody else's race, which is good. Saying that though, he's just up the back of Matt Tibos. And
yeah,
again.
He's literally pushing that car. But he's going to have to be careful because Simply Superman is simply behind him. We might as well call this Pun GP at this rate. As Juan Rocco is really on the back of that Alpine. It's the British driver, not the British driver, the British manufacturer of McLaren versus the French Alpine team. As Juan Rocco is literally, he is all over that car. He is literally going to go for it. He's going to go around the car, and that is a move
beautiful
into turn 1, and he gets that move. Will Simply Superman follow suit? We'll find out as he is going to get DRS.
One word answer, yes, maybe, I don't know. Running down in towards turn number 4, the first bit of that, yes, it is. Simply Superman doing his intersect. Matt Tibbles led down to 7, loses 2 positions. Juan Rocco, though, has been driving very, very astutely here tonight. I'm really impressed with his driving so far. Seems to have learnt the lesson. Obviously, if there's lag involved, not risking it in terms of moves. So far, so good for Juan Rocco's perspective. He's there in 5th position. On our end, certainly, he's not lagging. It's just a case, I think, of some drivers reporting that he has been lagging in the past. We've obviously taken measures to try and fix that, obviously, with new lobby protocols and whatever. But Amadi leading the way, Break Event in 2nd, Tom in 3rd. When are the pit stops, though, going to happen? As Amadi's really pulling out the ERS, I think he's thought it was going to come in the pit lane that lap around, but he's not. He's out trying to defend off Break Event and trying to get him out of slipstream range on the run down towards turn number 1. Nothing really, though, is going to happen in behind in terms of the moves, so I think for the first time in a while, not going to see any overtakes down into turn number 1, but Amadi leads the way. Break Event in 2nd, Tom 3rd, Yana 4th, Juan Rocco 5th, and Simply Superman, Matt Tibos, Yona, Jorg, Nathan Clark, Jonas Noisy, and Neymar, as Yana is on the back of Tom. Thought he was going to risk it in towards turn 4, doesn't get the job done, but he's there on sufferance. If I was Yana, though, in that point, and if he's listening to the stream, I think he needs to get the memo. He needs to overtake now.
Yeah, he might want to get that memo very quickly, as Juan Rocco, if he does a last to a podium, then fair play to the Spaniard, as he has proven tonight that his connection is good and he can race very well, and he gives us some fantastic overtakes as he is already lining up another overtake, and I think Jan might be his next driver to overtake, as he's going to get DRS into the final run of the lap, and he is using that DRS, but he's, as James just mentioned, isn't close enough.
Break Event took the lead of the race in towards turn number 1, missed that completely, didn't know what happened there, but Break Event is through and he's into the lead of the race. That's all you need to know. Break Event in the lead, now Amadi in 2nd, Tom there in 3rd. Yana does need to go for this move, I think, because Simply Superman's on the back. Yona was behind Matt Tibos, but Matt Tibos came into the pit lane early. The undercut strategy going to be quite potent. Jonas has picked up a 3-second penalty, and now he's fighting with the Dane of Neymar. Neymar on the outside in towards turn number 4. Oh, and he just nearly gets shoved off into the grass there slightly. Neymar's Jonas holds a position for 10. Neymar then 11th. Maybe a bit on Neymar's end, because I don't think he was going to get the move done around the outside there cleanly. But Break Event leading the way. Amadi in 2nd, Tom in 3rd. Matt Tibbles, though, out of the pit lane in 12th position. In terms of the gap to the leader, it's 24.5 seconds. Pit stop around here is normally around 22 or 23 seconds. Matt Tibbles potentially could be quite close once everyone decides to come in the pit lane, which I think might be in a few laps' time. As actually, speaking of which, Break Event is in from the lead. Oh, and he picks up a 5-second penalty.
Not what you want to be getting. As
Simply
there's
Superman.
a bit of a battle. Yeah, as there's a bit of a battle going into turn 1. It's like flying formation in I would say tier 1, F2. They're going for it. Juan Rocco, Jan, and EVG Tom. They're all battling for that final few podium places and potentially a P4 spot. as I watched F3 last season, and we had a driver. I can't remember if he's in F2 this season or not. Carlsbury. He hadn't had a great season, but he had a really good, strong race in the final race, and it just reminds me of that with Ron Rocco. Not had the best of seasons, but this race in particular is just showing that he has the pace. Sector 2, yellow flags, and that is an Alpine or Williams.
Neymar, I think he lost the position to break Fan. He was behind him coming out of the pit lane, so yeah, that makes sense. Neymar round obviously out on track. Juan Rocco, yeah, you mentioned on the back of Yana and Thomas into the pit lane. In fact, they're all into the pit lane. I have a feeling there. Oh, as Juan Rocco's gone into the back of Yana. Juan Rocco into the back of Yana. I have a feeling though that could be looked into in terms of pit entry. If pit entry is getting monitored, I think Juan Rocco came across the white line there. So potentially a slap on the wrist by the stewards may be needed in this. He's coming out of the pit lane though, no further damage to the car. Yana is behind these guys. Now why is Yana behind? Out on track to Juan Rocco and Tom, because he was ahead of them. And he's behind Neymar now. Has there been a front wing change in there or something? There must have been, surely. There's a 3 wide down the straight just ahead, and Matt Tibbles gets forced off the line of Juan Rocco. Tom on the inside line, and Juan Rocco has got 2 moves. Through the middle of them both, Matt Tibbles there down to 9, Tom into 8, Juan Rocco in 7. Didn't see what really happened there. The both Alpines are nearly ghosting inside of each other as well. But 3 wide into turn 3, and turn 4 was not going to work, and they should know better than that. But then again, this is F2 and it's the final race of the season.
Yeah, that could be maybe moment of... I do apologise for my voice this evening. That could be a moment of the season, and it seems like the season has worn on us both, James. We're both losing that voice just ever so slightly.
And I feel bad for you, because you might be having to go into F4 tomorrow night if I'm not going to be there.
I'm just like, holding on. I'm holding on. It's like, James, save me.
Neymar's holding on for P10 as well. Him and Yana side by side. The Finn and the Dane running side by side. Nathan Clark sets the new fastest lap of the race. And Neymar, to be fair, not giving up this position. Yana, though, on traction, gets the job done around the outside of turn 1 and 2. That's how you battle side by side in Brazil. Yana through, and he's into 10th. Neymar there down into 11th position. Nearly halfway through, only 1 VSC to count for so far. Simply Superman leads the way, Yona in 2nd, and this is a battle that we haven't seen so far this season. The two championship rivals, the two teammates, are going to be battling side by side. And look at how much pace Yona has got to Simply Superman. Remember, Simply Superman was on the back of a big old DRS train. He's now no longer relying on that. Yona's now on the back of him. And Yona is the one that's gaining the momentum on the back of Simply Superman. If I was Yona, though, I wouldn't try and risk it, because I don't want to put myself in a bit of risk here to Simply Superman. And yeah, Yona stays in behind for now, in towards turn number 1. But surely we're going to get the Aston Martins going side by side at one point in this race. Has to happen, surely. We've been robbed of it all season.
Yeah, it looks like Yona, he's getting close, he's going to go off. He went for it. Maybe we might have, instead of a Mercedes versus Red Bull battle, which was obviously Hamilton and Verstappen, we may have a Stroll and a, is it Sebastian Vettel or Nico Hulkenberg? As obviously Vettel didn't start.
Yana! Around the outside, Noisy's got been overtaken by Breaker Fed as well. I think that was in towards turn number 6, but Yana was trying to go around the outside of Matt Tibbles. They're side by side in towards Ferradura. And to be fair, the Finn's got the traction on the inside line. Matt Tibbles is not giving up this battle though. In towards turn 8, and Matt Tibbles is going to go all the way around the outside through turn 8. Now to the left hand of 9. Brilliant battling between them both. And Matt Tibbles, I think, just comes out on top, but they're still side by side. And Yana is the one turning the positive intra negative, gets the negative intra positive, other way round. Yana Thuni's into 9th, Matt Tibbles in 10th. It's now let Nathan Clark into play as Jorgers came into the pit lane potentially for a set of soft compound tyre. A little bit too early for my reckoning, but 18 laps I've seen work around here on a set of soft compound tyres. Now Matt Tibbles has to wait to the straight and get the job done in towards turn number 1. Matt Tibbles through and he's into the lead, into 8th position as Yona is through and he's into the lead.
Yeah, as I was just about to say, yeah, Yona up into P1. Maybe a strategy call for, and he said Mercedes said, Aston Martin there, and Yona doing quite well on the intermediates. No assists, should I say.
I know I'm making weird noise at this point, but they're still going side by side. Yana and Matt Tibos through turn 6 and 7. Yana's got that move done. He's through he's into 8. Look at the Haas though. He's right on the back, super glued to the back of Matt Tibos and Yana now in 8th and 9th position. Nathan Clark there in 10 has got the same tyres as Matt Tibos has got on those cars. He's just waiting in behind, waiting for something to happen. And do you know what? I think we're going to do it all over again and towards turn number 1.
Yeah, I think you're right there, James. As they come around the final corner into what will be the DRS range, well, DRS zone, should I say, and it will be a run down into the start-finish line. They're all going to get DRS except from Jan. As wow, as Matt goes for the move into turn 1, gets the move done, and that is him up into P7. Watch. But he's going to have to defend. As Jan is going to go back for the move.
Nathan Clark,
is it going to be 3?
Oh, look at this!
They're going to go 3.
Three abreast in towards, and Nathan Clark's going to get them both, surely, down the inside line at turn number 4. Gets the job done. Nathan Clark, he's still actually going side by side with them. My apologies. Yana's still side by side with Nathan Clark. Tries to go around the outside of turn 6 and 7. This is a phenomenal battle. Bit of a lean on each other. Not really anything in that. And Nathan Clark now down the inside of turn number 9. Still going side by side. But Tipos has now got the eyes in the seat. One Rocco has had to cut across the grass and get a 10-second penalty as a result. And Yana and Nathan Clark are still side by side. I think one Rocco was off, out on track. Not sure what happened there with him. He's out of the race pretty much now. But Nathan Clark has got that job done on Yana. He's through his into 6. Yana 7, Matt Tibos 8. I have a feeling Tom and Juan Rocco have came into colliding there, and that is why we've seen Juan Rocco get that 10-second penalty, cut across the grass as well, as now Matt Tibos is going to launch a possible 3 wide in towards turn number 1. Look at this, and Matt Tibos, Nathan Clark has to react to the left-hand side to give him the room. This is unbelievable. Yana 6, Nathan Clark 7, Matt Tibos 8. Juan Rocco's race is gone, and so is Yana's. He spins out of turn number 2 by himself. Yana round through the centre S at turn number 2. And now Matt Tibos and Nathan Clark are going to do it all over again down towards the scene of the Lago. Absolutely insane. Yona leads the way. Simply Superman in 2nd. Breaker Fen in 3rd. I need a vacation in Brazil.
I think we both do for that absolute simply fantastic overtake. I think
Nathan just speared across a Matt Tibos' line and he remains in 6th. Continue on.
Yeah, well, I don't know if to continue or not because it seems like there's all action as Jonah is the first of the Aston Martins to pit. So the race leader does pit and that will unleash Simply Superman into the race lead, and I suspect he'll go a little bit more deeper in this race for a set of soft compound tire. Penalty-wise, we will just get an update on the penalties. Brake has 5. Tom, has 3. Matt has 3. Noisy has 3. And one of the Williams, the name I still can't pronounce, has 3. I think that might just be the curse for me this season, not being able to pronounce the name. But yeah, it's still all to play for, as everyone in the midfield can still potentially get themselves on for a podium, as the gaps aren't that massive.
I'm just going to say this now. I think Yona's winning this race. Look where he's came out. He's ahead of Nathan Clark. He's ahead of Matt Tibos. He's ahead of Jorg. Jonas performed a huge overcut on everyone else. We were talking about undercuts being potent. Overcut has been very potent for Jona, and he's just gained a full second on back of Tom. Simply Superman's into the pit lane. I have a feeling Simply Superman's going to be behind it by a good second. Jona just gets caught in the curb slightly through Jun Sao, but he's trying to make up that lost time on the exit of the corner. Breakerfen leads the way. He's out by himself, out in front by around 3 seconds, I think, to the line. Imadi there in second, Simply Superman in third. It's 2.5 seconds the gap. Tom there now in third. Jona is already past Simply Superman. And Simply Superman is going to be side by side with Nathan Clark coming out the pit lane here, because Nathan's going to have the outside line. He's going to have the run. And it's going to be actually Matt Tibos and Simply Superman that could be side by side. But in the end, Simply Superman out in the worst possible scenario. He's going to have to try and go for moving towards turn 6. If not, he's sitting behind Nathan Clark for the whole of the middle sector. And he's surely going to have to try and think about this. And do you know what? Nathan Clark just said, you know what, come through, make it easy, drag me along. Simply Superman through, and he's into fifth as Jona is going to be on the back of Tom and within DRS, I think, this lap around.
Yeah, it is all systems go here in this evening, and even though there has been battles, it's glad to see that last week's Monza race hasn't come over to Brazil, as it's a lot more better for the battles, and yeah, it's Brake who leads the way here on lap 24.
And Yona did pick up that DRS this time around on the back of Tom. Obviously, he's not. I don't think, unless he's got a phenomenal run out of turn number 1, I don't think he's going to be getting this in towards turn 4. But you never know. This is Yona, the championship leader I'm talking about. I shouldn't really back him off. And do you know what? I think I'll just go back on my word here. Because Tom is now under pressure from Yona. And Yona's just going to absolutely sail it down the inside line into Cena de Largo. Job done for Yona. He's through and he's into 3rd. Tom there into 4th. And now we're going to get another battle between Nathan Clark, Matt Tibos. Jorg has now joined the party. And do you know what? He tries to go for the outside line. He gets tapped on the back end there on Matt Tibos' rear end. And that forced him off track, and York there remains in 8th position. But Breakerfen leads, Armadi in 2nd, Yona in 3rd. Yona now, next target hooked on his back is Armadi. He's 3 seconds up the road. Armadi, though, 3 seconds behind Breakerfen. And remember, Breakerfen has got that 5-second penalty. So all Yona needs to do, pass Armadi, and then he's got the race win.
Yeah, exactly. And if he's doing no assists and gets his first race win here, you know, is there anything we can't say about him? Like, I think, you know, he's completed it all, as he sets the fastest lap with an 8.3 as your gets past. Well, I say that, he's just narrowly gets that.
Oh, and he's got 2!
Oh, he goes for the double! He's
Nathan
gone for the cheeky double!
Nathan Clark made a mistake, I think, on the inside curb. Simply Superman's going for the move on Tom as well. He's doing his into 4th. But yeah, Nathan Clark, I think, got caught on the inside curb as a bit like Kazuki Nakajima back in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. It was the Japanese driver in 2008 where we collided with Coulthard. It was Kazuki Nakajima, I think, and he got caught on the inside curb and then speared across the track into the back of David Coulthard. And that was at the beginning, of course, of Lewis Hamilton's drive to glory in terms of his first championship in Formula 1. Jorg through and he's into 6th position, though. Nathan Clark in 7th. Nathan will be ruining that, I think, to be honest, out on track. He was going to try and hold him back. I think Jorg would have had the move done anyways in towards turn number 4. But Breakerfen leading the way. Armadi in 2nd, Yona in 3rd. Yona's now within 5-second range on Breakerfen. He's out of DRS this time around, though. He's got to watch out in behind. Simply Superman is not hanging around here, and he responds nearly with the fastest lap of the race with a 108.4. But Simply Superman there in 4th position on the back of Yona. This could get quite spicy towards the end between certainly the top 4, maybe even put Jorg, Nathan Clark, everyone else into the mix.
Yeah, it could put a lot of people into the mix as we get ready for the final 10 laps here of the TTML Formula 2 season in Brazil. And if the race so far has been absolutely fantastic, I think the final 10 laps could be even the same. So we'll get ready for what will be the final 10 laps here in Brazil.
We will indeed. Yona on the back of Armadi. There should be no hanging around from the man here. He is on the back of Armadi, the Scotsman, who I'd favour to take the race win. Do you know what? I'm going to favour Yona now to take the race win because he's right on the back. No assists or not. I'm not sure if he's put ABS back on or anything in this race. But I tell you what, whatever he's doing out on track, it's nothing short of an absolute phenomenal drive. Cloud beginning to build over the circuit though, which could spice things up towards the end of the race here as well. But Yona takes P2 like taking candy from a baby in towards turn number 1. He goes deep. Armadi nearly followed him through, and Simply Superman now on those fresh set of softs is right on the back as well. So maybe we're going to see Armadi and Simply Superman side by side in towards turn number 4 on the run down the Retroposter. Doesn't go for the move, but the Irishman is right there. It all now depends on, has Yona got the pace on Breakerfen to try and close in 3 seconds in, 9-10 laps? It's doable, but he's going to have to try and extend those tyres on that little bit longer.
Yeah, he will, and it looks like Simply Superman is lining up a move for the final podium place, which it could end off a fantastic season for Aston Martin and get themselves a double podium, as Yona has built up a bit of a gap. He's got a 1.3 second gap, as Simply Superman is definitely lining up that move as he is already going to go for it. Simply Superman, he's going to go for it down into turn 1. And I think he has got that move done. Easy peasy. And he gets that move done even before Torg.
Yorg's going to get Tom as well down towards turn number 1. That was a late send by Yorg down the inside line. Gets the job done. He's through. He's into 5th position. Again, another one really impressing me here tonight in terms of his driving. Matt Tibos on the back of Nathan Clark. Noisy now on the back of Matt Tibos, though. He has so much more ERS. He could get them both, you know. Down the inside line and towards turn number 4. Oh, I'd have thought he was going to go down the inside line. He realised at the last stage not to go for the move. There would have been contact between the both. Noisy knows what he's doing nowadays. He's there in 8th position. Matt Tibos there in 9th. Good move that by Noisy as well. Break FN though was the hunter, now becoming the hunted, as Yona is going to be within DRS range this lap around. And do you know what? I'm not going to even rule out him moving towards turn 4.
Yeah, it's pretty spicy here in the final few laps, as York could get himself P4 at the moment, as Imadi has a penalty of 3 seconds, so he could definitely get himself in a nice P4 to round off what is a fantastic season for him. As Nathan Clark and Noisy going for another battle, it seems like they're stick like glue to each other this race, and Matt Tibos is also going to join in that battle as well, as all 3 drivers are on the hunt for what will be P7.
This is hardly entertaining, I've got to be honest. It might not be the race of the season, but I tell you what, this is a really good season finale, I've got to say, here in Brazil. And do you know what? And we could even still go to race the season status with 7 laps to go after this one, as Jonas run on the back of Break FN. Come on, we need this battle between Yona and Simply Superman. We've been robbed of it all season. Simply Superman is catching, he's got a lap pressure ties to Yona. Yona now getting held up by Break FN, the boat in front of him. And Simply Superman now has got to try and close her onto the back of Yona. But to what effect? Because Yona just looks so good out on track. He's on the back of Break FN. This is going to be simply amazing. In towards turn number 1 as Yona sails past Break FN down the straight into turn number 1. Gets the job done. He's through. He's into the lead of the race. Break FN now in second, and now he's got another racing green Aston Martin in behind. Nathan Clark comes into the pit lane, which is interesting. Not sure if that's going to be retirement or not, or maybe for fastest lap attempt, which I think is going to be the case. Simply Superman though on the back of Break FN. Still not over and done with these guys, as Nathan Clark is into the pits, puts on that fresh set of softs, and he is going to go for that fastest lap attempt out on track. And Yana and Neymar still having a battle as well further down the field for 9th and 10th position. However, Neymar, is he not? He is, down the inside line and towards 7-4, just nearly gets the job done. Now up the hill and towards Ferradura, he's going to have a really good run up the hill now and towards turn number 6. But Yana holds on.
Yeah, he does hold on very nicely there, as it is going to be the final 6 laps here now, as we're getting ever so close to that final lap. As
oh
yeah, it's
my God.
as I think we've just both seen the same thing that's just happened. Yeah, I think I'll let James comment on that one.
Oh, Yona picks up a penalty! Yona picks up a penalty! And that weave says it all. That weave says it all. He is angry at himself. He now needs to channel that anger and pull 3 seconds on Simply Superman. There's no other way of looking at this race now. Simply Superman now in second. The thing that we caught on board with is Yana and Neymar going side by side, and they're completely off track actually. Yana cuts the corner, picks up a 3-second penalty. That'll get turned off, I think, because Neymar collided with him. But Yona leading the way, 3-second penalty. Simply Superman was, I think, the battle that we caught on board with, and he went so far to the inside line. I thought he was actually going to cut the corner, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did, to be honest. But now we are going to get the battle of TTML F2 as Yona nearly spins out of Jun Sao. Simply Superman now on the back. Yona is now beginning to struggle on the back, and the Irishman senses his opportunity to the inside line, in towards turn number 1, sails past him. Simply Superman beautifully through. He's into the lead of the race. Yona's mistakes are creeping in. The no assists, the pressure getting to Yona, and Simply Superman leads the way. Yona now in second, Break FN in third, and do you know what, Storm? I'm not even rooting Break FN out of this race.
Yeah, it just spices it up in these final few laps. Break FM could literally be on for a cracker result as Jan is into the pits, but we can't count out TTT York here. He's got no penalties. He could literally be on for a P2, and he hasn't even really got to do anything for it. He's just got to sit there and maybe close up about a 1.6 gap to Break and I believe Yona. So it's it's game on.
It is game on indeed. Simply Superman leads the way. Yona in second, Break ahead in third. Yona's mistakes are beginning to creep in. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, and that's Noisy round. Noisy round. I think he's cut it out the wall. He's spun on the outside curve, I think, coming out of turn number 9. So Noisy is spun coming through. He's got overheated tyres as well. He's got to be very careful. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if he comes into pit lane, tries him up to fastest lap attempt off the likes of Yana and Jonas, who are obviously going for that fastest lap attempt as well. Oh, 4 laps to go. Simply Superman leads the way. Yona in second. Can you check the warnings for me for Simply Superman? Because I have a feeling he's got 2 warnings.
I certainly will do that as
we wait on bated breath to find out if he has.
James, lap 27 is his only warning. He does not have any other warnings. So he can make another mistake. I will just check Jorg as well while we're here. Jorg has 75 seconds. 5 second penalty. Jorg, he's got to be careful. He has 2 warnings. So yeah, it's gonna be spicy.
It is going to be spicy, and do you know what? Yona's picked up the pace again. Yona's beginning to get back into his rhythm. This is not over and done with, you know, between these two and the Aston Martins side by side. Maybe in the final couple of laps of this race, but Simply Superman leads at 6 tenths of a second. Yona there in second. Look at the ERS advantage though. Simply Superman has got 6% more ERS than Yona coming through turn number 1 and 2 through the centre S, and now coming through the left-hand with turn number 3. Not going to be close enough this time around, and this is going to be, I think, the sole battle that we're going to ride on board with, because the IMD has now dropped out of the slipstream to Jorg. Jorg is not gaining on Break FN either. Doesn't need to gain. But he needs to gain another second to get within Yona's sort of range as well. And if that's the case, so the Simply Superman, he picks up 2 warnings and a 3-second penalty. It opens up Jorg potentially to pick up this race win. But Jorg needs to pick up the pace, and I just don't think he's got that in his tyres.
Yeah, I think he might get Break FM. I think. Yeah, he would get a podium because he's within 5 seconds. But I just don't think he'll get Yona. I think Yona would keep P2 and make it still a P1 and P2. As I say that, Break FM is slowly catching him up. But yeah, Yona going maybe for a move on his teammate. And I just wonder, team orders, will that play a factor? Simply Superman might just let his teammate through just because of the penalty.
Maybe so, but then again, why would you be stupid enough to let your teammate through? You're still going to pick up the race win anyways, because Break FN's going backwards, Jorg's going backwards, and these two have now got it between themselves. I think, final 2 laps, fair fight to the checkered flag. Whoever comes out on top wins the race. Simple as, I think, between them. No pun intended, by the way, in that I've just realised. Simply Superman leads the way. Yona in second. We've got a lap and a half to go of the TTML F2 season. And Yona in a position that he doesn't really find himself in often. Chasing the back of a driver in front of him. This time it's his teammate, Simply Superman. Nathan Clark, by the way, is going side by side with Neymar in towards turn number 4. Tries to go around the outside line. Tries to get the switch back to perfection. Oh, and that's glorious. That is absolutely glorious from Nathan Clark. Even better than Juan Rocco's switchback. Throonies into 8th on the back of Neymar through turn 4. Job done. He's Throonies into 8th. Neymar's tyres giving way, and Yona's tyres giving way as well as he chases and hunts down Simply Superman onto the final lap of the race. The final 4.2 kilometres here in Brazil. Simply Superman leads the way. He doesn't need to do much. He stays there out in front. Yona there in second. Break FN in third. That's probably going to be your podium, but Yona is going to have one last crack in towards the seat of the logo at turn number before. Is he going to be close enough to risk this down the inside line? He has to commit the move. Down the inside goes Yona into the lead of the race, and Simply Superman lets him have that one. But remember, Simply Superman is going to have to run back at him in towards turn number 12 out of Jun Sao, and then all the way down towards turn number 1. But Simply Superman's tyres all of a sudden are beginning to give way, and Yona's beginning to pull away in the final half of this lap. Yona leads the way. Simply Superman in second. Noisy's got the move done on Matt Tibos further down the field as well. But Yona, has he done enough? That fuel light is blinking as well. That's not good news for him. Simply Superman's fine on his fuel. This is going to come down to who wants it most. Coming through Jun Sao. Yona in a position now where he finds himself. He leads by 5/10 of a second. Simply Superman, though, on the back of him, is going to get the run. Maybe a photo finish to end off the F2 season. I think Yona will have this one out on track, though. Oh, will he? Yona to the line, does win the race, but Simply Superman, in terms of penalties, wins in Brazil. Yona in second, Breaker Fen on that 5-second penalty there in third, but Jorg picks up that position as a result of no penalties. What a race, and what a finale to end that off with, that battle with Simply Superman, and it's still not over. As Nathan Clark tries to get the slipstream, and do you know what? I'm a T. Has to take a run in action on the back of Neymar, and now he's going to have the run of both of them with 40% TRS. Neymar and Nathan Clark to the line. I think they've got the both same penalties as well, and it's side by side to the line, and Neymar jumps ahead of Nathan Clark. That needs changing around because I think Neymar didn't finish ahead of him. It was Nathan Clark ahead by 800ths of a second. As a result, Neymar there in 9th. And Armadi in 10th position, and we wait on Chonas and Yana to finish off the race as well. Chonas is going to try and be chased down by Yana coming through the final corner, and on the run to the line, these guys have had a disappointing race. Ray nearly coming at the end of the race, I think, as well. Chonas to the line at 11, Yana jumps ahead, and I believe, did he just pick up the fastest lap as well?
Yeah, I think he might have there, and yeah, what a race finish as Jonah picks up your driver of the day. We'll be picking our driver of the day very shortly, but let's take a look at them provisional race results for the Brazilian Grand Prix. As at first we have to see who is on the podium. It is Simply Superman. He takes the final race victory here in TTML F2. The Irishman takes a fantastic victory with QRT Jonah in P2, the second of the Aston Martin, and then TTG Jorg takes up that final podium place for Red Bull Racing.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant racing out on track there, and of course Yona does take second position here because it is a simply brilliant performance by Simply Superman, and that's one of the first times, I think, in quite a while where he's actually been on the top step of the podium. Hopefully we can get an interview with him and he doesn't go off like he normally does after the race. But Simply Superman, the Irishman, wins here in Brazil at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. I've just noticed that's been changed. Yona in second, Jorg there in third, Breaker Fen in fourth, Tom in fifth, Noisy in sixth, Matt Tibble 7, Nathan 9th, Ahmed D, and then Yana Chonas round off the top 12 that finished Juan Rocco and Bray at various points in the race. Bray didn't even make it in towards turn number 1 as a result of that VSC getting deployed there as well. Brilliant race though, Storm. Shall we try and get the top 3 in?
We might as well, James. I'll hand that over to yourself.
I will just go blue screen for a second then, and I will get the top 3 in. Remind me who the top 3 are so I don't mess things up. As, oh, I've been kicked out of the have I been kicked out of the party? That was weird. Oh, that was weird. I thought my game glitched or something like that, but there we are. Simply Superman. We'll try and get him in. We'll get Jorg in, and we'll get Yona in as well. Do you know what will make things a lot easier? If I just go to play together and then go bang, bang, bang. There's the top 3 invited into the party. Should have done that originally before. Goodness me, I'm so slow at these things. But there we are. The top 3 have been invited in. Hopefully we will get an interview, of course, by the Irishman. What a race, though, that was. Let me know in the comments section what you thought of that one. Our voices are completely and utterly exploded, I think, as a result of tonight's race here in Brazil. Sorry about all the little coughing that we had in the race as well, but that was a phenomenal race to end off. Yona has joined us in the party as well. We'll wait, of course, on Jorg and Simply Superman, hopefully both for interviews as well, which will be really good. And of course we will get to interview everyone as Kermit has said as well, F2 was line only, buddy. Yeah, but Yona was running no assists in terms of his racing. Were you running no assists, Yona, just to confirm for the stream?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Thank you for asking. I was, yes.
There you go. I don't want to be proved wrong by anyone on this chat ever again. Yona was running no assists here tonight. And I tell you what, don't think we're going to get an interview for Simply Superman, so we'll get onto your interview first. Yona finishing in second position, obviously. And that race, you looked right at home there, I've got to be honest. You obviously made a few mistakes early on. And then suddenly it just clicked. I think it was lap 5, lap 6, it just clicked, and you were quickening in terms of the pace on that set of medium compound tyres, went long, went onto a set of soft compound tyre. Talk us through it, because it looked like you were back to your brilliant best.
Yeah, I mean, I feel great at the moment, knowing I have my first on-track win already with no assist, so it came sooner than I expected it, and it makes me very happy. Of course, what you mentioned, the mistakes, they were more due to, well, I think lack of experience, because, for instance, locking up and going deep into turn 1 because of the pace difference, overtaking with DRS, so trying to adjust to that. The hardest corners were the 2 right-handers, mainly the first one, because that braking point isn't that clear to me yet. The second one, the lock-up corner, I had that one pretty much perfect for my experience, and I seemed to be very good at the last corner, compared to Noisy, who was at one point in front of me in the first stint. I noticed I was very good in the last corner, so I overtook him, and yeah, my pace just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then when I pitted for softs, I was actually thinking like I can get a podium here, and so it motivated me even more. Of course, some mistake here and there, but overall very good pace, and just in general very happy with it.
Yeah,
I consciously, by the way, did not do qualifying, or at the end I thought, well, I'll throw out a lap on mediums, but we all know how that went. But yeah, I on purpose did not qualify because you know, already champion last season of the race, so I thought let's have some fun, and I actually did have a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, as I said at the top end of the stream, there was no pressure on you tonight coming from the race, but there was pressure on you in the final couple of laps of the race from Simply Superman, because we got robbed of that battle through the 12 rounds of this season. You finally had both of your days in the sun, and I'll tell you what, it was probably one of the best battles of the season in F2. And did you have a feeling, I know he didn't have a penalty in behind, but did you have a feeling he was going to get you on the run to the line?
On the last run?
Yeah, on the last lap.
No, I knew I was clear. As I said earlier, the last corner was typically very good for me. It wasn't. I mean, he wasn't that far behind. But coming out of the final corner, seeing him like 6-5 tenths down, I knew I would cross the line first.
Yeah, and that's what you did, obviously.
It's light blinking as well the lap before, so I knew he was like maybe maximum around 20% DRS, so not that much.
Yeah, and obviously the fuel was running out on your end as well. I think Simply Superman might have overfueled as well, possibly in terms of his car.
Yeah, I underfueled. I mean, I didn't underfuel. I had 0.7 at the start, but that was clearly not enough.
Not bad at all. Storm, any questions?
Yeah, I think for that race start, I don't know if you were involved or you saw it, but was any contact between you and XL Bree? Like, what kind of happened? Because you saw him going to the wall. Yeah, we saw him going to the wall.
Yeah, he lost it. So what happened? No, so what happened was, we were doing formation lap, all good and stuff. I was just warming up my tires very easily, and into the final corner, the final braking zone. I was behind like 3, maybe 4 cars, and we were going normal pace, everything was going normal, and suddenly in the last corner someone came to a stop for some reason, and Ned Clark was the first, then came Noisy, and then came me. All came back on the back of him. I mean, it must have been Bree then, because we all got reset the track, cold tires, including Bree. I knew it, maybe he knew it too, but he still binned it into the wall, causing the virtual safety car. So I didn't think he had contact.
Yeah.
Because I saw him like losing the car himself, so I could avoid it. It was not like a sudden crash.
So you took another podium this evening on no assist. Your first race with no assist.
No, not my first race with no assist, but my first.
Well, your first podium. So does that give you more motivation to maybe test yourself into F1 next season?
Absolutely.
And see what happens in there, I guess.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
And I hand back over to James.
Yeah, my final question was going to be obviously looking ahead to the new season for TTML. How do you think you're going to get on? Because obviously, if you're at the pace of what you're claiming to be, obviously in terms of the no assist, and obviously you put the practice in on the new game, you should be F1 pace. So if you are going to be F1 pace next season, how do you see the season going? Because honestly, it's a big jump up from being F2 champion, straight from line only, into no assist possibly next season.
Well, the thing that motivates me mostly is knowing that everyone is having the same setup as you, or not setup as a car, but setup in sense of no assists. So that gives me that gives you a good feeling to start with, and if you get the practice in and you find the pace, I'll be hoping to fight from the midfield at first, and who knows, maybe I'll be finding some 10th throughout the year, and be up there with the front runners. That's my goal.
Yeah, hopefully so. I think Jensen and Tom are probably quaking in their boots, I think, to be honest, as a result of that comment. But yeah, I think that's all for me. Obviously, you came into the season with big hopes and big expectations, certainly from a certain someone as head commentator here in TTML, by putting all on the line saying, oh, he's going to win the title. You are a double champion, actually, because obviously Constructors went Aston Martin's way last week as well, and you obviously our Season 7 Drivers Champion as well. So go and drink it in, Yona. You can go and enjoy evening.
Thanks, mates, and I'm gonna enjoy this last race as commentary, and hopefully see you all next year. Next game.
I was gonna say
next year. Goodness me, you're not gonna get rid of me that quickly, are you?
No. Next season.
Good.
Game,
Yeah. Yeah, we will see you, of course, next game, and hopefully I might be getting to commentate on you next season as well, which would be an absolute privilege, as always. But big thank you to Yona. Have we got anybody else in the party, apart from Storm?
Nope.
No, nobody has joined. Terrible.
Yeah.
York messaged me on Discord, by the way, saying, hey James, I want to thank you and your buddy, doesn't even know your name, Storm, unfortunately, for the great commentating. It was not my best season, but I really enjoyed it. I'm not done in TTML yet, so there's one thing to say. See you next season, he says. I think, unfortunately, I'm going to have to let him down, because I might not be here in F2 next season, unfortunately.
He'll have to put off his line and then join in F1.
It's with good reason, though. It is with good reason, because the season... I saw it rumoured somewhere. I don't know where I saw it. The Season 8 calendar. The expectation... I'm not sure if I can do this, by the way, from Kermit's perspective. Yeah. I'll do it anyways, because I want to try and tease everyone. It looks as if F1, F2 and F3 are going to be on the same night. Looks like it's going to be on Thursdays at this moment in time. It's the same day as obviously what we're doing at the minute for F2 and F3. And I can exclusively reveal that Yona, you need not worry if you're not the pace of Jensen and Tom, because F1 and F2 is going to be no assists next season.
Oh, F2 as well?
F2 as well. Provisionally.
Okay.
This is not confirmed, so I'm just reading this out from what we've got so far. But yeah, F2 is going to be no assist. F3 will be line only. and you can probably see where we're going with Friday. F4 and F5 will be assists, and that is going to be on Fridays. Not sure at the minute what the time is going to be for each race. I would assume it's going to be different times for each tier. We've obviously got to discuss that though behind the scenes, but just to let you know on terms of the schedule, that is what's going to be possibly happening. Obviously, things can change, signs can come in, and loads of people can say, oh yeah, we can't do the days. We'll probably revert it back just to the original days if that is the case. But that is our current plan. Thursdays, F1, F2 and F3. No assists for F1 and F2, and 9 only for F3. And F4 and F5 for assist tiers. And as I say, it's all provisional. It will all get released officially in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. And that brings me on to my next announcement as well for TTML moving forward. F1 is getting graphics next season. That's just a complete letdown, I think. Thank you. And the reason for is that I'm now beginning to invest in equipment that can actually make my voice sound less crackly and everything else, and hopefully let the cameras do the talking as well as me just sitting on a chair for an hour and a half. But yeah,
and
what I'm going to be...
1080p.
Yeah, and 1080p, maybe even a little push up to 4K. I don't know if that's gonna work though, but goodness me, it should be entertaining. Yeah, I'm gonna be ordering a Stream Deck and a capture card going forward. I've downloaded OBS Studio today as well, so I'm getting to grips with that. And my plan is for FRL because Yona, I know you're in FRL F1 alongside me, obviously. I'm planning final 2 races of the season to run graphics for FRL then as well.
Nice. Very nice.
Should be really good. So that is the latest update from what you can expect for season 8 from me. And that brings us very neatly on, of course, to the end of tonight's race. Big thank you, of course, to Yona for the interview, as always, much appreciated. And Storm, I'm going to come across to you. Your final thoughts on this season, and for the final time, driver of the day, please.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic season, and there's only been one driver champion, and that is QRT Jonah. Massive congratulations to himself. But yeah, he's had one hell of a season. It's been a phenomenal season for him and his teammate as well, which is Simply Superman. Driver of the day, well, I think we can give driver of the season to Yona. That's definitely 100% guaranteed. But I think, yeah, maybe driver of the day, I think we're going to have to give it to Jonah's teammate, which is Simply Superman.
Really?
Well, I didn't really know who else to... It's like... you know, you put me on the spot there.
Don't get me wrong, Simply Superman drove a really good race, but Yona was 13th up to 2nd.
True.
So, and head commentator gets dibs on who's driver of the day?
I just thought we'd go a bit different, as every race we've had is Yona. So I thought,
sorry,
you know, come on, let's give his teammate a bit of, you know.
Oh, go on, we'll be nice for once. We'll give Simply Superman the driver of the day. Why not? Because, yeah, I think we have been a bit biased towards Yona, or certainly somebody has, in terms of the commentary this season, towards Yona.
Yeah. You're not paying him, Jonah, are you?
No, he's not. He's not. Unfortunately, not yet. Anyways, might be next season in F1.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know where I will be next season, but I'm sure I'll be in one of the tiers next season, and I'll be taking you through the action in TTML. Whatever tier that James wants to put me in, F2, F3, and obviously I'll be hopefully returning back to racing as well. So you'll see me probably. More than you probably want to next season, and I'm sure James will probably get enough of me probably by halfway through the season. He'll be probably saying that Storm, he's at it again. But no, it's been a pleasure to work with James again, and seeing Yona and all the guys in F2 race fantastic as well.
Yeah, been a pleasure to work with you as well, Storm, and a pleasure, of course, to commentate on these wonderful guys for 13 weeks. My voice really does need a rest now, I think, but goodness me, that was a great race in Brazil. Hopefully more to come next season on F1 22. More action, though. We're not robbing you, I promise, of any more action on League Racing TV this week. Of course, Friday, tomorrow night, it is TTML F4, and it's going to be Storm and Buck taking to the action. I'm going to have the night off. Storm's available, so I may as well have the night off. If anything comes up, though, I will be there.
Yeah, hopefully my voice holds in. But yeah, we'll be taking you through the action. I don't think F4 Championship has been decided yet.
It hasn't.
So if it hasn't, then what are you missing out on? Tune in to League Racing TV 8 PM tomorrow, and we'll be crowning hopefully a F4 champion, and that champion will be one of the 4 champions that will be alongside Yona at the end of the season.
Yeah, of course, and to whet your appetite a bit further as well, it's 11 points separating Jamie and Storm in terms of the title. 4 drivers... No, hang on, I'm doing my maths wrong. 3 drivers can still win the title. It's Jamie, Storm, and Kermit that can be crowned champion. Ivan Mike, unfortunately, is mathematically out of contention to take the championship. He's on 201 points, though, and still within a chance of picking up a top 2 finish at the very least. So, that is that. But if you do want to come and see the closest battle in TTML F1 history, I may have you know, it is, of course, Tom Robbo against Jensen. 9 points separating them into the final race of the season. Fingers crossed. Please may the gods be with us for Jeddah in TTML F1, because that race was really good, and I want more of the same from Jeddah into Brazil with Tom Robbo and Jensen. 9 points separating them out on track. The constructors can still be wrapped up as well. That looks like it's going to go Red Bull's way, though. 50-point advantage over McLaren going into Sunday. And of course, that is live and exclusive on Twitch. TTML F1 on Sunday at 7 PM UK time, and of course F4 tomorrow 8 PM UK time. And while I've got your attention as well, because I'm waffling on a little bit longer than normal, TTG Esports PC Invitational is also live on Saturday, and of course Luke Etheridge and Ayub Khan going to be taking to the action for that one, which should be very interesting indeed. We have rambled on a long time, though. We're probably going to end it off here. Big thank you, of course, to Yona for the interview. For every single person in this league in F2 who has driven this season, whether you're a reserve, whether you haven't shown up to every single race, or whether you have driven every single race, we are really appreciative of your efforts here in TTML F2. And long bring on TTML going forward, of course, for Season 8 on the new game. More action to come, as we say. We're going to start that off at F2 tonight. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.